On today's call, the Friday Senior Solutions Agency call. You've got Joe Johnson, Michael Mahalik. We're going to be your host today. We got a great call lined up for you. So appreciate your patience. Appreciate everybody hopping on, and want to wish everybody a happy St. Patrick's Day. I know it was today's the 18th. It was yesterday. So hopefully you know whatever you do to celebrate St. Patty's Day, drinking the green beer, or maybe you had some corned beef, some Reuben sandwiches, or shepherd's pie, or however you celebrate St. Patrick's Day. I hope it was a great day for you, and hope that you celebrated it safe. Michael, did you guys do anything special yesterday?
St. Patty's Day has just never been a big thing in the Mahalik family for some reason. We got the Savannah does the big St. Patty's Day, and I know Chicago dyes the Chicago River green, but we just never did much home there for some reason.
Chicago had their parade for the first time in a year, or was it 2 years? But they do it on the weekend, obviously. So they did it last weekend. My son actually went down to it, and they dye the river green, and big parade. They actually have two parades in Chicago. They have one they call the South Side Parade,
right?
And then they have the one that goes like right downtown over the bridges, like Columbus or whatever. But they have a South Side Parade as well in Chicago.
Wow, so to go there one time.
Kind of a big deal here. All right, guys. Well, your quote of the week, Michael. Are you able to see my screen? Is it showing up?
I am. Oh my goodness, have I seen this one a million times, and it is so true.
Yeah, so the quote of the week, as you can see from the screen, is your ego is not your amigo. Now, the only thing is I can't give credit to anyone saying this because I don't know, I don't know who started that, but there's a lot of famous people out there that talk about your ego potentially getting in your way. And it's just kind of a good topic today, and we're briefly going to touch on it. This is not something, this is really the quote of the week, but I just want to kind of get into it a little bit because I think it's a good segue into my next screen. That, and from personal history, many times I can look back to, Michael, and say, man, if I just would have, been maybe a little bit more humble or had asked for more coaching. You know what the saying is, hindsight's always 20/20.
Yes.
And I just want to make the point to everybody on the call today is, don't have such an ego that it prohibits you from excelling, or it prohibits you from reaching out and asking for help. It's okay. It's okay to be humble and say, hey, Joe, I'm, stuck on this. I've got agents that I've worked with for years, Michael, that call me all the time about stuff, but they're not. What I like about that is that they're not too proud to call. You know what I mean? And
pride is the biggest stumbling block.
Your ego can get you into a lot of trouble. It really, really can. And I just want to take a point and just something that was recently, and maybe you didn't follow the case or whatever, but you certainly, once I talk about it, you'll know what I'm talking about, everybody on this call, because it's not only news in Chicago, but it's made national news, and it's been going on for over a year. But if you have followed the hate crime hoax by Jussie Smollett, I'm going to say, nothing more. Recently, he just got sentenced to like 5 months in jail or something. And to the very end, he was letting his ego, even during sentencing, saying that he didn't do it. And everybody, I mean, even people that know this guy knows that he did it. And the bottom line is that he's going to jail because of his ego.
Exactly.
My contention is that once everything came out and all the evidence, and the Chicago cops started saying, listen, we're turning the we're now investigating Juicy, because we think, you know, it's totally a hoax, and everything seemed kind of hokey from the very beginning, right? My contention is that if he would have just humbled himself in lowered his ego and just came out publicly and said, listen, I made a huge mistake. They're right. This was a hoax. I was looking for attention. I'm so sorry. You know, I'll make I'll reimburse the Chicago cops. You know what I mean? Just came out and came clean. Everyone would have been pissed, but I promise you, he wouldn't be going to jail right now.
You better believe it.
He's going to jail because his ego got in the way, and he was so deep into the lie that he wouldn't let it go. And as an agent, I don't want you to get caught up in that lie that you are, you know, that you're struggling, but you're just not willing to ask for help. It's okay. It's okay to ask for help. And we want to help you. Michael and I, we want to be able to
Yeah.
give you help. So don't be embarrassed if you're struggling with something that you think is elementary or low level stuff. Everybody goes through a learning curve. So I just want to make the point about this is that you know, don't let your ego or don't let your ego get in the way of your success. Anything you'd like to add on before I get to my next slide?
That is so true. You know, I look at points. I'm 51 years old now, and I look at points at my lowest points in life. I look back, it was using my pride and my ego, Joe, that put me there. And if I just lowered my pride and my ego, I would never went through those rough times in many cases.
Absolutely, man. It's okay to ask for help. So I'm hoping today, this afternoon, next week, my phone's ringing off the hook. People asking me for help. Which brings me to my next slide, the CU program, the Coachup program. So I'm making an announcement right now. I'm going to be more dedicated to you know, coaching agents. I'm also going to offer a free coaching program to agents outside of our network of agents. So as you guys know,
Wow.
I mean, well, there's a catch to it. There's this is a live training webinar. We've got a lot of agents on here. We also record this. We get it on YouTube. So maybe you're an agent and you're watching this on YouTube. You're not part of Senior Solutions. Here's the thing that I found, Michael. If you want to be a top producer, you need to learn from a top producer.
Yes.
It's hard to learn something from someone that, you know, hasn't done it. If you want to train for the Olympics, you need to get with somebody that's been to the Olympics, or they've trained other people in order to get to the Olympics. You look at all the top, you know, is it surprising that all the top golfers in the world, you look at every golfer in the PGA, they all have coaches. Tiger Woods is a coach. Rory McIlroy has a coach. Bryson has all these guys have coaches. In the business world, we need to get coached up as well. So I would encourage people to be more proactive. And the thing that I guess I'm sometimes surprised is because I see all the numbers. I know who's producing, I know who's not producing. And I guess the thing that doesn't really bother me, but the thing that surprises me sometimes, Michael, is that I don't get more phone calls, is that I'm the one that has to reach out to agents and say, hey, what can I help you with? I would, and maybe that's the ego thing. That's why I think these two things kind of go together, is that it's okay to lower your ego and call. And if you want a 10 or 15-minute coaching session on a few things, even if you're a zero producer or a low producer, I'm going to take the time to help you to get you to the next level. My offer about free final expense coaching is that if you're watching this on YouTube as a replay, but you're not part of Senior Solutions, and maybe you're not getting the coaching or the mentoring that you need from your current agency or IMO. And if you'd like a free 10 to 15 minute free coaching session, then shoot me over a text. We'll arrange a call, and I'll, take 10, 15 minutes, kind of go over some things with you and kind of dissect your business, see what, in my opinion, what you're doing right and maybe what you need to tweak a little bit. And then this is the point of the call, that if you are watching this as a replay on YouTube, what I would recommend is subscribe to our channel. We put out new content all the time. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when we do make a new video. If you could, give the video a thumbs up. And then also I put my my cell phone there. So if you are interested in contracting opportunities, or if you would just like a free coaching session, feel free to shoot me over a text, and we can set up the coaching section. All right, Michael, you ready to roll into our?
Just to interject real quick, I want everybody to know how rare this is. A lot of times, Joe, as we always hear, a lot of times, here's your contract, go get them, Tiger. Really, this coaching and this mentorship, ladies and gentlemen, is what really sets Senior Solutions apart. So take advantage of it. I promise you, me and Joe know all of our competition. It is truly a rarity in the business. Normally, it's hire as many people as you can, throw them up against the wall and see who sticks. That is not Senior Solutions. We are committed to your success. So please take advantage of the coaching program.
Number one complaint Michael and I hear from agents, it's not their contract level, it's that they don't get any help.
Agreed.
Number one complaint. What is counterintuitive, I guess, is that coaching's a two-way street. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So so you got to look at it this way. If you're the agent, here's my advice to the agent, is if you're not getting the attention that you need or you feel like you deserve, don't take it personal. Just be proactive. So if you're not getting, if this Friday call, as an example, if this is not enough for you, if you need more coaching, Michael, I've never told an agent that I don't have time for them.
No.
I mean, I always take the time. It may not be convenient for them. Maybe it's 7 o'clock at night or whatever it is, but I'm always going to take the time to make sure that I give people the attention, the mentoring, and the coaching that they need. But to my fault sometimes is that I'm not always as proactive. Maybe I could certainly, and here's me lowering my ego, I could do a better job of reaching out to agents. So it is a two-way street. All I can say is that, if I haven't reached out to you in a while and asked you if you needed help or how are things going, what can we do to kick up your business, my advice is don't take it personal. Okay.
Agreed.
Just let's open up those communications again, and let's get things figured out, and let's help you get your business to the next level. And I think sometimes agents don't reach out, Michael, and sometimes it's not because of their ego. It's because they already know what they need to do. They just don't want to hear it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So anyway, that's that. So Michael, did you have I've got some material planned for today. Did you had some material planned as well, correct?
I did not, but of course I can always talk about this business. I love this business, and again, I always say to people, you're at the right place at the right time, the final expense industry. But the beauty of this industry is it follows a very simple 4-step process. And that's me and Joe. Everything we do, all of our curriculum, everything is really built around that 4-step process. Number one, you got to sell yourself into the home. Me and Joe are going to say that's 50% of your success. Joe and I know someone I met yesterday tells me that's 70% of their success. But more than half of your success, ladies and gentlemen, in this business is just getting in front of the client.
Yeah.
Number two, you've got to give your presentation with confidence. I mean, you know it. conviction, meaning you believe it, but most importantly, completely every time, not adding anything or leaving anything out. That'd be like cooking a really good cake, Joe, and I leave the eggs out or I add Tabasco sauce in. I'll say that cake ain't going to taste the same. Well,
Right.
Joe, ladies and gentlemen, he designed the Senior Solutions presentation almost like your recipe for success, and you need to follow that recipe if you want the same results. The third step is you got to solidify every sale you make, because it's not the business you write that matters, it's the business that you keep. But, Joe, probably the last thing that we really don't talk about enough is you've also got to be able to sell that long-term relationship. Is really the fortune is in the follow-up, but you've also got to sell a long-term relationship to yourself. Because if you stay focused, which stands for fixed on course, until successful for 3 to 5 years, you leverage the mentorship that Senior Solutions provides. You truly are going to enjoy the life of your dreams that we're all looking for, that time and financial freedom that we all want. So, Joe, it's a simple process, but we both know it's not easy. But the good part is we always say you're not by yourself. Senior Solutions is with you every step of the way. So
Yeah.
that's sort of my 2 cents for today, Joe.
Very good. So I did have a couple of tips, Michael. I think I told you I went out and ran some personal business this week.
Yes.
Yeah. So I just want to talk about that a little bit, about what my experience was this week and just some of the things I did as far as door knocking and the in-home presentation. So my big sales tip today is, and this goes for whether you're doing telesales, if you're selling over the phone, or if you're doing it face to face, doesn't matter. And that's delivering what we call the upfront contract, in delivering it in a way that sets you up for success for the rest of the sale. And I'm just going to tell you something that maybe I've tweaked it a little bit and added a few things to it. Think about a good recipe, Michael. Sometimes you can tweak it a little bit.
Yes.
If you want your cake a little fluffier, maybe you put some mayonnaise or something in it, or some sour cream if you want it to be nice and moist. But if you're familiar, and hopefully you are, if you're familiar with the upfront contract of the 10-step process, this is basically where I would propose the question. I'm with Michael, I'm either on the phone or I'm in the house, and I would say, hey, Michael, out of curiosity, do you know how these state regulated programs work? And he's going to look at me, and 100% of the time, the answer is always going to be no. They don't know how it works. And then, so here's the tip for today. And the reason why I bring this up is because I'm usually always really good at following the 10-step process. This week, when I was out into the field, I had a couple of preset appointments, also did a couple of door knocks as well. And the one thing I just want to bring up, and just kind of, I'm reflecting back, because I called Michael and I'm like, man, I forgot how much I love this business and how much I love just being out into the field and door knocking and meeting people. And on Thursday, or was it, no, it was Wednesday, is when I went out, and I only had time, I had kind of limited time. I ran my 2 preset appointments, and then I was able to get 2 door knocks in. The only reason why I only did 2 door knocks, Michael, is because I got both people and I was able to sell both of my door knocks right there. One of them was actually on the porch. It was that Wednesday. It got up to, it was like about 65 degrees here, so it was a little bit warmer. And this sweet old lady, her name's Sally, she came out, and as soon as she opened the door, you could see like the cloud of smoke come out. She was a heavy smoker. I think she was a hoarder too. She didn't want to go in the house, so we did everything on her front porch, and I wrote her up, and the deal's signed, sealed, delivered. Actually, I talked to her this morning, gave her the follow-up phone call, let her know she was approved. Sent her out a thank you card already. So those are all the follow-up steps. But to the point of what I want to get to is in the in-home presentation, in the upfront contract is, and I'm just going to role play with you, Michael. I'm gonna ask you if you know how these programs work. You're going to say no, and then I'm going to propose to you the upfront contract. Okay.
Right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where you want to take notice. Okay. And you got to listen to the delivery, And you don't need to necessarily do it the exact same way I do it, interject your own words or your own vocabulary, but it needs to be something close. And I promise you, if you incorporate the simple step, if you're leaving it out, if you incorporate the simple step, I promise you're going to close a lot more deals and you're going to get a lot less objections during the middle or towards the end of your presentation. All right, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Michael, out of curiosity, do you know how these state regulated programs work?
Joe, no, I really don't.
Okay, very good. Well, Michael, the first thing I just want to point out is that I don't work for a life insurance company. Okay, so I'm not here trying to sell you life insurance. As a state licensed field underwriter and with Senior Solutions, Michael, my job is more of a, you could say like an advocate or a consultant. And basically all I'm going to do today is I'm going to educate you on all the different programs that are available in the state of Illinois. And then I'm going to ask you just a few health questions. And then I've got this software on my phone. And what I'm going to do, Michael, is I'm going to put everything in, I'm going to research, I'm going to find all the best programs that are available in the state of Illinois. And really simply, if I can find a program that you like, but more importantly, I know it's got to fit your budget, but if we can accomplish those two things, Michael, all I'm going to do is simply help you apply for it. Fair enough?
Fair enough.
If you can just master that one thing, okay, it does a couple of things. Number one, it puts, Michael, I know we're just role playing, but didn't you kind of feel at ease after I said that?
I did. You sort of laid out what we're going to be doing in our meeting the whole time. People like to see where you're going.
That's the upfront. That's the whole purpose of the upfront contract. So my point is that if you're just going into some kind of sales pitch, okay, and you're not incorporating, or if you're leaving out what we call the upfront contract, number one is that you're going to lose a lot of sales. And two is that you're going to make it a lot harder for you. The whole idea behind the upfront contract is to basically solicit or prompt any objections that might be there. Because maybe Michael comes back and says, well, I really don't want to apply for anything today. Oh, Michael, I understand. This is just the application process. You can't actually purchase anything today. My job is simply just to help to get you approved so you can overcome that. Or maybe the objection is, hey, listen, this sounds good, Joe, but I really can't make any decisions without my kids or my daughter. She handles my finances. So it does two things. One is that like what Michael said, it lays out the groundwork. So when you get to the end, you don't get crazy objections because they've already agreed what's going to happen, and they understand the process. And the other thing that it will do is it will bring out any objections that they may have. So make sure, that's tip number one, make sure that you are properly incorporating the upfront contract, whether you're doing it on the phone or in person. It'll make a big difference. Michael, before I go into tip number two, any comments or anything you want to add to that?
Just remember, every great presentation is designed so you can handle objections and concerns your client has up front in the presentation instead of at the end where both stakes and emotions run high. And that's really the hallmark of a good presentation, is handling those objections up front.
If you have if you've ever been car shopping before and you walk onto a lot, you always know that you're going to get approached from a salesperson. There's always that little bit of like anxiety, you know what I mean? Like, yes. Oh, here comes this. Wouldn't it be refreshing if a guy came up and says, hey, I'm Joe, introduce himself, just to let you know, hey, I'm not going to try to sell you a car today. My job is just to, find out what your needs are. We'll go for a test drive. We'll give you some pricing. If you like it, that's great. If not, no big deal. But we just want you to feel comfortable and just realize there's no pressure. If a car salesman did that to me as I came on the lot, I'd probably end up buying a car from them.
I agree.
And that's kind of what we're doing. The same thing here is we're putting the client at ease and letting them know that we're not going to pressure them into trying to buy life insurance. All right. Tip number 2. These 2 tips, by the way, you know, these are small little things that could revolutionize your business. Tip number 2 that I wanted to talk about was door knocking. And here's the reason why I want to bring it up. And not that this was bothering me, but it just kind of, I just want to clarify something. I was watching someone else's training video. I watch a lot of guys. I know, Michael, you do too. You watch a lot of guys on YouTube, right?
Correct.
The so-called experts in insurance, the gurus of final expense, and there's some good ones. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of guys out there. Well, there's not a lot. There's a few guys that I really like and I respect, and I think they have good channels and I like their content. But anyway, I was watching this one particular YouTube channel of a guy that was talking about one of his agents that was kind of struggling, and he was critiquing what he was doing. He was door knocking. And what he said is that, well, when the agent gave him, they like role play, hey, it's basically, hey, Bob, give me your script. Let me hear what you say and let me critique it. And the thing about the person's script at the door that the mentor was commenting on is that he was very apologetic for knocking on the door, and like he was almost got the sense that that internally, I guess you could say, the agent felt like that they were truly like disrupting or bothering the client. You kind of get where I'm going with this, Michael?
Clients can pick up on that as well. Yes.
Okay. So here's the point that I want to make when you're door knocking. Okay. And with the script, almost every time I door knock a door is that I usually do apologize. I usually say, hey, sorry to bother you. Our office has been trying to reach you. We haven't been able to reach you. That's why I'm stopping by today. Okay. So what I want to make is what I want to point out is the difference between a script and then the difference between an agent actually feeling that way. So here's what here's it's kind of a touchy subject and it's kind of hard to explain. But if you're knocking on the door, if you're door knocking and you are really timid and shy, and you really, like, in your heart, you have feelings of guilt or anxiety that you're really truly like disturbing somebody, that's going to come through in your personality. Does that make sense, Michael?
It sure does.
Like, no matter how good your script is, okay? But what I want you to understand is that there's a difference between delivering a script to provoke a response versus you feeling that way, okay? So the difference is when I knock on a door and the client comes out, and this is not on preset appointments, by the way. On a preset appointment, obviously, they're expecting me. I would never do this. This is on a random door knock. I've got a direct mail lead. They're not expecting me, okay? First of all, it's only polite and it's courteous to apologize because you're arriving unannounced, okay? Inside, the difference is, and the point I want to make is that when I'm knocking on the door and I'm door knocking, I don't have internally, I'm not internalizing the feeling that, oh my God, I hope I'm not interrupting this person. No, it's the exact opposite. My internal feeling is that It's my job, it's my responsibility to knock on this person's door, regardless of what they're doing or how busy they are, because I'm obligated to give them the information in which they requested, because God forbid they pass away and I never got them the information in which they requested. Do you understand? Michael, can you feel me on that?
Sure can.
So, so when I knock on a door and Michael comes out and says, yeah, can I help you? Michael, my name's Joe. I'm really sorry about bothering you today. I know you weren't expecting me, but my office has been trying to call. Here's the reason why I stopped by. Boom. Now, I'm not really sorry that I'm bothering him, okay? But I'm saying I'm sorry because I'm using human nature to my advantage, and I'm what's the word I want to say? I'm prompting or I'm provoking a response from Michael, because what's Michael going to say? He's going to come back and say, oh, well, that's okay.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Have you ever been to here's an example I want you to think about. Let's say you go to a restaurant and you don't have a reservation, okay? And you get there and the hostess or the maitre d', you walk up and say, hey, can I get a table of 4? And he says, well, do you have a reservation? Well, no, we don't have a reservation. Well, sir, this is a very popular restaurant. We're very, very busy. We can get you a table, but you're going to have to wait 45 minutes. You know what I'm going to say, Michael? I'm going to say, screw you. I'm going to go somewhere else.
Right.
Okay. Now, if he said the same thing, I walk up, say, hey, can I get a table for 4? Oh, sorry, sir, do you have a reservation? No, we don't. Gosh, you know, I wish we could get you in right away, but, you know, we are super busy. Our food here is fantastic. That's why we're so busy. I can put you on the wait list, and I'm really, really sorry, but you're probably going to have to wait about 45 minutes. But, man, I tell you, Michael, it's really going to be worth it. It's fantastic. Is it okay? Can we go ahead and put you on the wait list? I'm probably going to say, okay. It's it's all about the delivery of how, and that's why apologizing like that, you're not apologizing because you're really sorry. You're apologizing because you're looking for that that response. I hope that's am I translating this okay?
It's not what you say, but it's how you say it. And that is just huge. That was probably the perfect example, John. We'll be using that one a lot.
It's how you say it, and when we door knock and we apologize for bothering them, we're a couple of reasons. One, we're doing it because we're nice people and we're trying to be, you know, we're honestly trying to be polite. But you also need, what is it you always say, Michael? You need to be politely assertive.
Yes.
So this
So
is
you
an example.
mix those two things in.
Say that again.
You got to mix those two, almost like a doctor-patient relationship. You know, the doctor is very nice to me, but he's also going to be assertive of what I need to do today as well. And it's almost a clinical relationship, you might say, in some ways. But you got to put yourself in their shoes. You know, people don't care how much you know; they know how much you care. And at the door, everybody remember, you're a professional delivery person at the door. You are not a salesperson. You try to sell at the door, they're going to shut you down. You're a professional delivery person that's putting yourself in their shoes, because obviously by door knocking, we are showing up unannounced.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just common courtesy to apologize.
Yes.
So anyway, so just the other thing too is that the other thing I was thinking in my head is that we're not apologizing for interrupting as a sign of weakness. Okay. So don't take it as, oh, you're being weak or you're timid or whatever. It's psychological. And I think it's important for agents to understand it's one thing to read a script. It's another thing to understand why certain things are in the script. For example, the upfront contract. If you're reading the 10 steps to the sale and you're reading the upfront contract, you might think to yourself, oh, this is stupid, I'm just going to leave it out. But it's there for a reason. Once you dissect the psychological part of why we do what we do, then you'll start having more success. So I think a lot of times with the the one-on-one coaching, Michael, is when I'm able to dive in with agents and get them to understand it's not just words on a piece of paper. You know, we didn't write these scripts because we think they sounded good. Everything is written down for a reason. There's a human nature, or there's a psychological aspect of everything that we do, and we do these things to get a result that's going to be more in our favor. Does that make sense?
That makes 100%. Putting yourself in their shoes, emphasizing. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah, absolutely. So those were really my two biggest takeaways. I just, you know, and it just kind of came to my head because out there, you know, out into the, you know, being back out in the field and running some business. And I think sometimes I just take it for granted that agents understand why we do what we do, but you learn how to do those couple of things. The other little point I want to pick out, especially for those agents that are doing face-to-face sales, man, if you're not taking your leads and door knocking them, you are so missing the point, man. Don't leave all of your success. Don't leave it to the hands of your client just happening to pick up the phone to do a preset appointment. Okay, preset appointments. I mean, the way I look at it, and I'm not against preset appointments because I like having appointments. Everybody does, but there's a lot more that can go wrong booking appointments over the phone. Number one, here's a couple of things, Michael, that can go wrong. One is the client never picks up, right?
Right.
You call and call and call, they never pick up. They do finally pick up, and then they hang up because they think you're a telemarketer, right?
Yep. Put yourself in their shoes. How many of us on this phone pick up a number we don't recognize?
Very well, I do, but
Oh,
I answer the phone only so I can find out who it is, so I can block their number.
I love it. I love it.
So I figure at the end of the day, if I block enough numbers, maybe the scam or the spam calls will stop coming in. Okay, so they don't pick up. They do pick up, but they hang up. How about if they book? How about you have a successful call? They pick up, you book an appointment. Now what can go wrong? You go there and you get porched,
Yep.
or it's a no-show. Okay, so there's it's like the old football philosophy. You know, why do teams still hand the ball off to a running back? Because a lot less can go wrong. Okay.
Agreed.
When a quarterback goes back to throw a ball, what could happen? He could lose the ball, it could fumble, he could get sacked, he could throw an interception. There's a lot that can go wrong with that process. You hand the ball off to a running back, a lot of things could go wrong, but there's a lot less things that could go wrong. It's more secure. So I kind of compare door knocking is like running the football in the NFL. Calling and booking appointments is like passing the ball. Yes, you can make a big play and you can have a home run, but a lot can go wrong. So when you're door knocking those leads, the benefit is you're going to have a higher conversion ratio. People are more likely to meet with you, more likely to book an appointment with you if they can see you face to face. They're also a lot less likely to be a no-show. Now, me personally, Michael, very rarely when I go out and door knock do I ever set preset appointments. Okay, when I door knock, I'm making the attempt to get in right there.
Yes.
What's the saying? A bird in the hand is better than two in the bush.
Especially in this business, where 99% of the time it's going to be a one-time closed sale.
I got the bird in hand, and that's what happened to me Wednesday. I made 2 door knocks. I got lucky. They both answered the door, got in. Well, one I didn't get in, but I sold her on the porch. So I got in. The other one I did get in. So it's a lot less can go wrong. But my biggest tip on the door knocking is make sure you're door knocking your leads. If they're not there, use the delivery notices. The other thing too is that try to go for the sit down right then and there versus booking appointment for the next day. Now, if you're door knocking and you've got an appointment that's close by, maybe you're just doing some door knocking and you need to get to your next appointment. I have done it where I've met with the client, I door knocked them, they were home, but I had an appointment like in 15 minutes that was close by. Let them know, hey, I've got an appointment I've got to get to. Let me stop by in about an hour, hour and a half, and I'll go over the information with you. So that's the same day. So you'll have a lot better success on a same day appointment than you will a next day. But Michael, I've been stood up on same days too.
Yes.
So sometimes depending on how soon my appointment is, if I'm door knocking and I got somebody that's there, sometimes I'll go ahead and sit on that appointment and just either call or just show up to my next appointment late. You have to kind of take that gamble a little bit, because I've also had it where, talk about a really bad day. I door knock a lead. I could probably get in if I wanted to, but I book an appointment for later that day, okay, because I have an appointment. I go to my appointment. My appointment's a no-show. Then I go back to the house I just door knocked, and they're not home, okay? So then it's just like, oh, crap, man. I should have just, I was there, they were there. I should have just made my presentation right then and there. So those are little things that you learn as you go, but I'm just a big believer. If you're door knocking, your client's there, man, take the time, make the presentation right then and there. So anyway, Michael, that is all I have for
Joe, I want to interject one thing as well. Please, ladies and gentlemen, that we have these things called delivery notices. They are worth their weight in gold. Because in many cases, a lot of people you're going to go to, they're not going to be there. And you're going to just don't leave one on the door, Joe. I'll leave one on the door and the garage. I try to figure out where they're coming. If they're got a carport, I'm going to need the carport and leave one of those right there. Ladies and gentlemen, they look just like what a UPS or FedEx driver would leave, and our customers are so curious. They're going to call you back on that. And we can't go into it on this call right here, but there's actually a separate call with you and Jimmy, Joe, that you did on the delivery notice procedures. But ladies and gentlemen, if you do not have a pad of those little yellow delivery notices, you are doing yourself a disservice. Because Joe, I think probably half of my sales are closed off of delivery notices.
Yeah, they work awesome.
Yeah, please get those.
They'll call you back. They'll call you back either pissed off that they didn't order anything, or they're going to call you back because they're curious of what's trying to be delivered. But one way or the other, they're going to call you back.
And I don't want to spoil the video, but do not answer the call, ladies and gentlemen. They call you back, turn back around. If you're only 30 minutes away, go back to their house, because seniors are creatures of habit, routine. I can tell you what my parents, Joe, my parents are near 80. I can tell you what they're doing every hour of the day. And most seniors are. So please watch that video. But if you do not have delivery notices, it is crucial you have them to be successful in door knocking.
Absolutely. All right, Michael. Well, thanks for being on. All right, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. We appreciate everybody that hops on the call. God bless. Have a great weekend. And again, you need help, drop your ego, give me a call. I would love to have a conversation with you, see what we can't do to kick your business up to the next level.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, everybody.
All right, everybody. Take care. God bless.